Did you ever wonder why there are so many different kinds and so many insects on Earth? Of the 1.4 million creatures identified, insects are far and away the largest and most diverse group, accounting for over a million of the total. This disparity might be even greater. Entomologists suspect that there might be over 5 million new species of insects waiting to be discovered. Today, we're going to explore why there are so many insects and why they are so diverse and successful. The answer will take us on an incredible journey through time, through mass extinctions, giant insects, and remarkable adaptations that have led to the incredible diversity we see today. Here's a thought to ponder. Insects have been here long before the dinosaurs. Not just a little before, but hundreds of millions of years before. While dinosaurs appeared about 230 million years ago, insects had already been crawling and flying around for nearly a quarter billion years. That's when the first land plants appeared too, setting the stage for one of the most successful coevolutionary stories in Earth's history. Today, there are more than 250,000 species of flowering plants, 4 times more than all the vertebrates combined. To understand this epic journey, we need to take a closer look at Earth's major time periods. Earth's history is divided into 4 major eras, each subdivided by periods. First of all, the Precambrian, which is from 4.5 billion to 540 million years ago. The Paleozoic, 540 to 245 million years ago. Next, the Mesozoic, 245 to 65 million years ago. And finally, the Cenozoic, 65 million years ago to today. The Precambrian era, stretching from Earth's formation 4.5 billion to 540 million years ago. During this vast span of time, our atmosphere developed, continents formed, and the first simple life emerged. Think of it as Earth's preparation period for the explosion of life that would follow. Then came the Paleozoic era, 540 million years ago, beginning with the Cambrian explosion, when complex life really took off. This is where our story really begins, with the first insects evolving from crustaceans, making the incredible transition from sea to land. But their most remarkable achievement came about 160 million years later, during the Devonian period, when they became the first animals ever to achieve flight. The wings might have evolved from either the gills or legs of their crustacean forebears. Think about it. Insects were pioneering flight, while other animals were just starting to live on land. This revolutionary adaptation gave them access to entirely new habitats and food sources, setting the stage for their incredible diversification. Fascinating chapter in insect history, the Carboniferous period, about 360 to 300 million years ago. Scientists call this the giant insect era, and for good reason. Imagine walking through a prehistoric forest and seeing massive dragonflies called meganeura or griffin flies, with wingspans of over 28 inches. That's over 2 feet across, dozens of times larger than today's dragonflies, which they closely resemble. These weren't the only giants. The skies and forests were home to enormous insects of all kinds. Massive prehistoric cockroaches, the giant predatory griffin flies ruling the skies, enormous ancestral mayflies, and countless other supersized insects alien to us today. But why were these insects so enormous? The answer lies in the air they breathe. During this period, the Earth's atmosphere contained over 30% oxygen, compared to today's 21%. This might not sound like a huge difference, but for insects, it was revolutionary. You see, insects don't breathe like we do. They take in oxygen through tiny tubes in their bodies called tracheae. With more oxygen in the air, these breathing tubes could support much larger bodies, allowing insects to grow to sizes we could hardly imagine today. But if the oxygen level significantly decreased, the insects would not be able to keep their large size due to atmospheric physics. Consequently, this golden age of giant insects wouldn't last forever. About 252 million years ago, Earth faced its greatest crisis, the Permian-Triassic extinction event, what scientists today call the Great Dying, the largest mass extinction event in history. This wasn't just one disaster, but a series of simultaneous catastrophic events, hitting a massive volcanic eruption, setting fire to huge global oil and coal deposits and increasing carbon dioxide by 6 times. Global gasification of methane seabed deposits. Global warming massively transforming Earth's climate. And to top it off, a devastating asteroid impact. The results were catastrophic. Over 90% of marine life vanished. 70% of land animals with backbones disappeared. And countless insect species went extinct. But here's where the story gets really interesting. While many insect groups vanished forever, some proved to be incredibly resilient. Beetles, cockroaches, and certain other groups not only survived, they thrived in the aftermath. Recent discoveries in China have revealed an amazing fossil record from this period, showing 28 different insect families across 11 major groups. These fossils tell us something remarkable. After the mass extinction, insects underwent an explosion of diversity, evolving into many of the forms we see today. This timing perfectly matched a similar explosion in plant diversity, creating one of the most important partnerships in natural history. As plants evolved new forms and features, insects evolved alongside. Insects became specialized pollinators. Plants developed new defenses and attractions. Each drove the other's evolution forward, and together they created increasingly complex and diverse ecosystems. Here's one of the most fascinating paradoxes in the story of life on Earth. While mass extinctions are devastating, they can also lead to explosions of diversity afterward. It's like nature's reset button. When dominant species disappear, they leave open niches that surviving species can evolve to fill, often in surprisingly creative ways. The Great Dying is a perfect example. While it wiped out most of Earth's species, it created opportunities for the survivors to diversify into new forms. We see this pattern repeatedly in Earth's history. After the Great Dying, surviving insects evolved into countless new species. When the dinosaurs went extinct 65 million years ago, it allowed mammals to flourish. And without the mammalian explosion, we human beings wouldn't be here today. Think of it like a garden. Sometimes a forest fire, while destructive, creates fertile ground for new growth and species that wouldn't thrive in the shadow of the old forest. These extinction events, as tragic as they were, acted as powerful drivers of evolution, leading to the remarkable diversity we see today, from the millions of insect species to, yes, even us, humans. But the story takes another fascinating turn about 150 million years ago with the evolution of birds. Despite oxygen levels rising again during this period, insects surprisingly got smaller. This wasn't about breathing anymore, it was about survival. With predatory birds in the sky, being small and maneuverable became much more important than being big. This pressure continued and intensified, especially during the late Cretaceous period, as birds became more sophisticated flyers and more efficient predators. Now you might be wondering, how do we know so much about ancient insects? Amber. It is one of nature's most remarkable time capsules that gives us an incredible window into the past. When tree resin flows over insects, it can preserve them in extraordinary detail, frozen in time for millions of years. These golden windows into the past are revolutionizing our understanding of insect evolution. Amber from nearly 100 million years ago shows us insects that look remarkably similar to those alive today, yet also reveals extinct species we never knew existed. Each piece of amber is like a tiny prehistoric photograph, showing us the exact colors of ancient insects, fine details of their anatomy, even their behaviors caught in the moment, sometimes even showing them carrying pollen or prey. What makes amber so special is that it doesn't just preserve hard parts like typical fossils. It preserves soft tissues, colors, even microscopic details like tiny hairs and scales. They're helping us piece together not just what ancient insects looked like, but how they lived, what they ate, and how they interacted with their environment. This brings us to today, where insects remain the most diverse group of animals on Earth. Their success story spans nearly 500 million years through multiple mass extinctions, dramatic climate changes, and countless challenges. They've survived by being incredibly adaptable, developing amazing specializations, and maintaining close relationships with plants and other organisms. So the next time you see a beetle scurrying across your path, or a dragonfly darting through the air, remember, you're looking at the descendants of Earth's greatest survivors. These creatures have outlived the dinosaurs, adapted to changing environments, and helped shape the world as we know it. Their story is far from over. Insects continue to evolve and adapt to our changing world. Thanks for joining me on this journey through time. If you enjoyed this exploration of Earth's most successful animals, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories about our natural world. And let me know what you think about this amazing journey through time.